What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right, what is it? Sunday night already? What's going on? I wasn't sure I was going to make it tonight, but I did. Sorry, apologies for missing Friday night, everybody. We did do the early Thursday one. I tried hard to do the Friday night one. It just didn't work out. I'm very sorry, you guys. But here we are on Sunday night, and everything's fine now. Rosie, Izzy, how you guys doing? Somebody got the first like, the double good karma first like. And it wasn't Rosie, it wasn't Izzy. Who was it? It was some mystery person. I don't know. Anyway, I hope everybody had a great weekend. And there's not like a huge show set up for you tonight. I think maybe we go a couple hours. Maybe. We'll have to see. We always start out in both Rumble and on YouTube. Usually after about an hour, I cut off the YouTube portion of it just because of censorship reasons. Tonight, maybe, this might even be like an hour and a half one. I don't know. This could be really short tonight. So maybe we'll just do the YouTube all the way through. If we get in an hour in and it looks like we're going to go pretty short, we might just do the YouTube all the way through. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. All right. So let's go through the menu. What are we going to be talking tonight? Let's go through everything we're going to talk about first, and then we'll actually get into them in depth. We've got Kevin O'Leary again. I'm showing lots of Kevin O'Leary clips because right now he is really tearing it up in terms of Justin Trudeau. And now here he's talking about the United States and Canada and what kind of harmonizing could be done. It's interesting stuff. I don't think I agree with all of it, but there's some interesting stuff in here. We'll take a look at that. What else we got? Well, we'll take a little bit of a look at the World Economic Forum and why it's relevant to Canadian politics. It's stuff that we've gone through on this channel before, but it's kind of a nice little thread here. It's nice and easy for me. We'll go through that. What else we got? There's lots of different people coming out of the woodwork to be the Liberal candidate. There's people that have no chance of winning, like this guy, although I kind of like him, I got to be honest. Let's see. We'll talk about Trudeau. Megyn Kelly hates Justin Trudeau. She thinks he's gross. She thinks that he's gross. And she says to Justin Trudeau, "You shall not pass!" And I just like hearing other people besides myself making fun of Justin Trudeau. So we'll talk about that. Anything else here with Trudeau? Oh yes, we've got something here on the many scandals of Justin Trudeau. Maybe we'll talk about that tonight. We've got Pierre Poilievre. He's getting noticed outside of Canada. Now, he first got noticed a while ago, like a year ago, with the whole Apple interview thing. But now it's coming back again. He really is starting to get some more attention. I think he's impressing people outside of Canada more and more. And I think he'll become more interesting to the world as we get closer to the election. Let's see. We've got Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan here talking about how the Biden administration was on the phone screaming and cursing at his employees to take down content, to censor people. That's not really very surprising. It seems like he obviously immediately caved, right? Now we're seeing a different story. Is he sincere in it? Is he going which way the wind is blowing? Probably just going whatever way the wind is blowing. Although sometimes people, they get older, their politics change a little bit. Maybe they get a bit more ornery. They get a little more cantankerous, willing to dig their heels in. I don't know what's happening, but all I know is that it's good. What have we got here? We got some stuff Rosie sent in. I believe Rosie sent this one in, Bill Maher. Bill Maher, he says totally sensible things and then votes for the worst people ever. I think for Bill Maher, it's just Democrat is just a brand that he likes. It's like Gucci or something, or Calvin Klein or something. It's just a brand, and it's just so many liberals, like even like old school liberals, like not crazy people, just were trained to find anything that's not liberal or doesn't sound liberal or progressive. They've been trained to just find it aesthetically unpleasing, to have a kind of a disgust for it. So he will keep saying the right things and keep voting for the worst people over and over and over again. Bill Maher, I think if Donald Trump were a Democrat and Kamala Harris was the Republican, he would have voted for Trump. Because no matter what he says, he just keeps voting for the things that he hates over and over again because it's the D. It's got the D. That's what matters to him. Let's see what's going on here. Having children does have its perks. I don't know. Is that child labor? I don't know. It seems to work, though. We've got a bunch of little stuff here. We've got some stuff on the WEF. These are all of Trudeau's cabinet that Klaus Schwab had penetrated in his. He used the word. I mean, it's a really specific word, penetrated. Penetrated. Why does he do that? We've got something here that's going to be funny. We've got a man who allows himself to be bitten in the face by a snake. Bad idea. The solution to snakes is not trying to kiss them, it's burning them. See, that snake, you burn it. You don't try and kiss it, you burn it. You see it, you burn it. That's what you do with snakes. You burn them. Let's see. This lady here says her body is not the problem. The system is the problem. And what was this about? Oh, yeah, she's protesting at an airport because she's too fat to get on the plane. Apparently, it's everybody else's problem. It's not her. We'll have something to say about that. We got some Joe Rogan with Theo Vaughn here. They're talking about Joe Rogan. We've got some memes that are pretty funny. We got a bunch of stuff. So that's everything we've got tonight. I've also got a new puppy palate cleanser here, which is just funny. That looks like Mr. Snacks. It's not him, but it looks like Mr. Snacks. Anyway, I won't play the entire thing right now. I'm going to make you wait. There's some sanding. Let's get to the chat quickly before we get into the news. And again, I think this is going to be a short one tonight, an uncharacteristically short stream. We shall have to see. I don't know. Is an hour and a half a short stream? For us, it is. Because typically, we're at least 2.5 hours, often 4, 5, even 6 hours. Let's see. Is he saying he could be worse? Could be living in California. Yeah. Brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Will the total and utter incompetence, and I would even say just indifference to human well-being, will that change voting patterns there? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. Oh, Jesse got the double good karma. Good for you, Jesse. Good for you. Rosie says, harmonizing is good. Sovereignty is best. I agree. Right. Talking about like the European Union, comparing it to that makes me very nervous because I don't think the European Union has really worked out well for Europe, for individual European countries. But harmonizing, there's some interesting things that Kevin O'Leary says. We'll take a look at that. All right, what else we got here? Turtle says, hey, Turtle, how you doing? Good evening. The Hollywood sign is on fire. Is it on fire now? Is it on fire now? I've seen like some AI stuff where it was on fire. Can somebody confirm in the chat that it's on fire? Hey, streamer, how you doing, radio streamer? He says he'll be in and out tonight. So if he's slow to respond, that's why. So you'll have to be patient with radio streamer. Let's see. Izzy saying, need a fact check on the sign burning. Well, we can do a fact check right now. Rosie's saying, I like 1.5 to 1.5 to 2 hours Eastern time, then work early on Monday. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing an hour and a half, is there? Nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that I always put too much stuff together and I end up just blathering for too long. As he says, yeah, 5-hour streams are hard. They are. Radio Streamer says, hello, my fellow degenerate basket of deplorable, cisgendered, God-fearing, Constitution-loving, orange Hitler-following countrymen and women. And hello to everyone out there as well worldwide. Hello, Radio Streamer. All right, let's do a fact check. Let's see if the Hollywood sign is on fire. Fact check. All right, I'm going to do a grok check on this because that's the quickest way to do it right now. All right, hold on a second. There we go. No, the Hollywood sign is not on fire, despite images circulating on social media suggesting otherwise. These visuals have been identified as fake, likely generated by artificial intelligence. The Hollywood Sign Trust has confirmed that the landmark remains secure and unaffected by the ongoing wildfires in Los Angeles. Live cams and official reports also show the sign intact with no fire in its immediate vicinity. I'm surprised that the sign hasn't been stolen yet. It hasn't just been stolen like 3 years ago or something. Do people steal the sign, like keep stealing it and they have to keep replacing it again? Because apparently everything else gets stolen in California. Maybe they have a special law they passed against stealing the Hollywood sign. Let's see. Let's take a quick look. Let's see what people are saying, though. Stop sharing fake photographs. Do not make others confused. We're already dealing with a lot. No, the iconic Hollywood sign is not on fire. No, it's not on fire. Not on fire, it says here. That's a picture from live cam. I mean, when was that? When were these? Well, that was January 8th. When was this one? January 9th. Or the 12th now. But Grok, I think, would know. I think Grok would know. I think we can trust. You can't just believe anything that an AI says. But something like this, it's probably going to be pretty accurate. Generally, you do have to double check, though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Grok would know if the Hollywood sign was on fire or not. Yeah, I think it's all good. All right. All right. So there we go. Well, why don't we just get straight to it? If we're making time tonight, let's just get straight to it. All right. What's going on here? Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful. So he here is talking about this whole thing about Canada and the US becoming one or becoming like an economic zone or something. Because this is all around, Trump's statement. Trudeau is the governor of Canada. He wants to make Canada the 51st state. He also wants to take Greenland. Greenland seems more realistic to me. Canada, certainly not. That's just not going to happen. This is part of Trump's shock and awe thing he does before negotiations. That's what this is all about. I think also, too, though, perhaps he does see some opportunity for some sort of greater, I'm not sure exactly how it would go. Maybe, what Kevin O'Leary is saying here, maybe some of that may be realistic, but some sort of greater harmonizing that would be advantageous to both sides between Canada and the U.S. But certainly not, Canada is not going to become a state. That's just not going to happen. But let's hear what Kevin O'Leary has to say about it right now.
Kevin, talk to me a little bit more about that merger, the talks there between U.S. and Canada.
Shirley, hold on. Let's make this a little bit bigger. All right.
Kevin, talk to me a little bit more about that merger, the talks there between U.S. and Canada. I know you've been vocal saying that, hey, maybe this is an idea that does make sense. Walk me through that.
This is the longest border on Earth with the largest amount of trade, 1.3 trillion, 188 billion just out of Alberta, shipping energy to the United States, the number one exporter or importer of energy, between these two partnerships. So that's the trade deficit there. Trump talks about a $200 billion trade deficit. It's all oil that's being imported in the United States. In fact, Alberta has more oil than the entire United States and gas. And so that's a partnership that gives energy independence, number one. Number two, all the goods and services. I mean, Canadians and Americans are almost original DNA. They're almost the same with cultural differences, obviously, and nobody's saying give up your citizenship. But
I mean, this is very true. Culturally, the US and Canada, basically, we're not very different. We're so similar. There are some differences. Of course, there's like regional accents and all of that, but it's not like we're from different planets or different continents. It's as if we're neighbors right next to each other. And really, come from the same place anyway, right? So let's continue.
why wouldn't we create something as powerful as the economic union in Europe? Why wouldn't we do the same thing here and tell the rest of the world, listen, we've put our economies together?
See, I don't like the sounds of European Union. I don't think that's been very good for Europe. Certainly where you have a bunch of unelected bureaucrats that are making laws, deciding what can be said on the internet. All this stuff sounds very bad to me, but let's continue.
Together, and I'll give you some specific examples. A common currency. All of the commodities, and Canada's so rich in them, whether it's precious metals, or water, or oil, or whatever, gas, are denominated in American dollars. Every Canadian has an American dollar account. So why not just say, we'll have a common currency. Maybe you give the Bank of Canada 2 seats on the Fed, details to be worked out. And all of a sudden, you're trading goods and services in one currency. Check.
Well, being on the petrodollar doesn't sound like a terrible thing. I mean, basically our currency, the Canadian dollar is becoming increasingly worthless. I mean, I assume that will turn around. There was a little bit of a bump when Trudeau resigned, but that reversed itself immediately. Being on the US dollar, that's a kind of harmonizing that I don't really see the downside of it. That would seem to make economic sense for Canada. I mean, it would strengthen us. But perhaps there's a downside that I'm not foreseeing.
Check that box. Number 2, eradicate all tariffs, not just north and south, east and west. You take Vermont, for example. There's a barrier between Vermont farmers selling dairy into Quebec, just north of them. And Quebec is subsidized by Alberta with a milk board that pours milk away after Alberta gives them $5 billion to subsidize them. That's just sheer stupidity. Wine in California can't be shipped to British Columbia. British Columbia wine can't be shipped to Ontario. You get to see what I'm talking about. Eradicate all of that, and the productivity goes through the moon.
If it were an agreement where, because certainly the West has tried sending all of our jobs everywhere else in the world, right? Like we've tried. The West has tried this experiment of sending our jobs and our factories and our production to the third world. Right? That's not a great thing. So domestic production, if you could make it work so, you're not like Canada isn't losing all of its production just simply to the States. Or, if it's equal in some way, if you could, again, kind of harmonize things so that it works out well for both sides, that seems kind of good. I mean, certainly, Canada's economy is in trouble right now. It needs a boost. I mean, that's why we're going to be electing in a conservative government with a majority. I think a very big majority, maybe historic majority. So, I mean, there's some interesting things here. Let's continue.
Here's how you control immigration. Let's nickname it the Uni. This is a passport that's issued to any American citizen in good standing with the American government and has a passport, or any Canadian citizen in good standing with the Canadian government. Each government gets a say on whether a unifying passport is issued to that individual. That individual can then travel and live anywhere they want, any province, any state, and they pay one tax rate, 21%. Let's just say that, with no deductions. And so people will really find that attractive, but it's even better. You start to control immigration. You want to go to MIT? You got to get a uni. Why do you want that student to get a uni? Because half the students at MIT going into engineering, very valuable students, we kick them out of the country when they graduate. What are we, idiots? We should bring their whole families over if the background check works and keep them here working for our economy. On and on and on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea I mean, he's basically talking about dual citizenship there, but you have this passport, 21% taxes, no loopholes there, and you can just go wherever you want. Just streamlining things, right? Getting rid of red tape and bureaucracy, just streamlining things. I do like the idea of that. Let's continue.
All these ideas do not have you giving up your citizenship.
And not giving up your citizenship. So it's like dual citizenship, but it seems like, again, a kind of a harmonizing move, just a streamlining, which I do like the sounds of that. I like the sounds of that economically. I do like the sounds of just being able to move anywhere in the States that I want or go work down there and not, or live here and work, live half the time and work. I mean, this all sounds like good things that would stimulate growth. Innovation. It'd be a reason for North America. It'd be a way for North America to keep from a brain drain, right? So I don't know. It sounds interesting to me. Is any of it realistic? God knows. But I thought it was interesting. Maybe it's, again, probably none of that's ever going to happen, right? But I remember a time when you just needed a driver's license to drive over the border to the States. That was better. What do we got here? And what are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? Turtle says 30 people arrested for pretending to be firefighters. They are breaking into houses. I've seen a ton of stuff about this. Even setting fires to get people to leave so that they can then break into their homes. The gang's doing that, is what I've heard. Homeless people setting fires, all kinds of people setting fires. 30 people arrested for pretending to be firefighters. Yeah, I don't find that surprising. I can absolutely see that. Let's see. Turtle says Tim Pool posted about the sign. Sometimes he's just trolling. He does a lot of just trolling. Nevada says, we just want Alberta and Saskatchewan. I think a lot of people in Alberta would be very fine with it. And Nevada says, USA has no petrodollar since 2023. Thank Biden. Well, the BRICS keep talking about like a BRIC currency. That I don't think that's going to happen. It has seemed to have been chipped away with like Saudi Arabia and China coming to agreements. But it's still the petrodollar still rules though. But yeah, I mean, there's warning signs, there's red flags all over the place. Rosie says, I like flat tax, but how about lower or just a sales tax? Tax all, not just citizens. Flat tax, like a low flat tax or sales tax. These are not bad ideas. These are not bad ideas. Izzy says, I'm starting to agree that taxation is theft. Yeah. Well, the way it's being done now, it does seem like it doesn't, especially when this, you don't really have representation. You have representation with tech. You have taxation without representation when they're just taking your money and giving it away. Like in the States, just giving the money away to everybody in the world. I mean, how many billions, hundreds of billions to Ukraine, right? Canada, I mean, Trudeau gave away, what was it, $4 million for gender neutral demining in the Ukraine? And he's constantly doing this, giving money for gender theory in Sri Lanka and stuff. I mean, it's all just lunacy. Nobody asks him to do that. He doesn't ask, hey, is it okay if I just give away your future for gender studies in I don't know, Bora Bora? Nobody's asking. Nevada says LA is a commie hellhole. I have for many years now had absolutely no desire to go back to Los Angeles. I've been there a bunch of times. And I just have zero interest in going back. I mean, well before, what's happening now, obviously. And I feel terrible for all those people because it sucks. I mean, even if you voted for it, I mean, you didn't know you were voting for that. But yeah, I haven't been there in, I don't know, a decade, probably. And I have zero interest in going back at any point. Let's see. Izzy says, I just don't want money going to fund shit I don't want to support, like killing people in other parts of the world. That's a great point. Rosie says, yes, theft, no accountability. Exactly. Well, let's see. Media loves it, but, Izzy says, yeah, government shouldn't be giving citizens money away. Certainly not to go into debt. Like the Trudeau, like the hundreds of, how many billions of dollars is Trudeau giving away? This is all printed money, which caused inflation, or borrowed money, which we have to pay back. This is lunacy. Nobody said, yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, give away our future. Put us into massive debt, every single Canadian. It's not even like they have a surplus and they say, well, I'll prove to the world how virtuous I am. No, it's like, let's borrow money that's going to destroy the futures of Canadians, and I'll give that away so I can be virtuous and feel good about myself and get applauded at, some fucking, the next, third world country I go to. Or Davos, or just Davos. Or the next, UN meeting. Nevada says Americans used to pay zero taxes. That sounds good. That sounds good. Go back to that. Let's see. Rosie says, how do we know anyone voted for it? No ID. Well, yeah, depending on where you are. Nevada says interstate sales and imports is all that should be taxed. So, yeah. Let's see. Where are we now? From David Jacobs, what is the World Economic Forum and why is it relevant to Canadian politics? Let's take a look beyond the conspiracies and focus on the policies of the World Economic Forum and how they have impacted Canadians. Well, it's this. If you want to see where the utopianism comes from Justin Trudeau, you need to look no further than the, you'll own nothing and be happy crowd, right? And eat the bugs crowd. And you can have a car, but you'll have to share it. That crowd. The WEF was established by Klaus Schwab in 1971 to engage global leaders from business, politics, academia, and civil society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. It is essentially a left-leaning think tank creating policy positions that have global impact. That guy. It's not good when they all get together, when all the Western leaders get together in Davos. Also, by the way, there's always a massive influx of thousands of prostitutes there when this happens. So just to let you know, but I just don't feel it's good when all the Western leaders get together in some little mountain town in Switzerland to listen to this fucking guy. I mean, he's a Bond villain straight up. You don't need to know anything. Just look at this Bond villain. Bond villain. Where is that picture of him? Hold on a second. I've actually got him in a Bond villain costume. Hold on.
Fact check.
Give me 1 second, you guys. Where is it? Hold on. I'll be right there. Here we go. Here we go. This guy, when your leader is going off to Switzerland to meet this guy, right? So he can tell your leader what to do in your own country. Okay. You know things are going bad. That's just a bad idea. If you ever see the leader of your country talking to this guy and taking advice from him, elect a new leader. You don't need to know anything more than just this picture. Just look at it. Bond villain. This is a guy who's designing some sort of massive laser, right, to extort the planet or something. This is just you just look at him. Just look at him. If the leader of your country hangs out with this guy, you need a new leader. You just do. You know it immediately. You know it. We all know it. Don't hang out with this guy. Don't listen to him. Look, he's wearing, like Rosie says, he's wearing an evil costume right there. Look at that. That's an evil costume. That's an evil guy costume. That's a supervillain guy costume. He's telling you. He's not hiding it. People focus on the over 1,500 private jets flying into Davos every year for the annual WEF conference, but it is the 1,500 private jets flying out that are more important. So people focus on the over 1,500 private jets flying into Davos every year for the annual WEF conference, but it is the 1,500 private jets flying out that are far more important. The World Economic Forum is masterful at disseminating information across the globe. Record private jet flights into Davos as leaders arrive for climate talk. For climate talk. Private jets, climate talk. See, it's little clues like this that, all their rules, their net zero and, the socialism, it's all for you, not for them. Like you'll have nothing and be happy. That's for you, not for them. You'll own nothing. You'll have to rent everything. That's for you, not for them. Eating, the bugs. Eating the bugs. That's for you, not for them. Having to share a car with 50 other people. That's for you, not for them. Right? They get the private jets so they can talk about climate together with all of that 3,000 prostitutes that they imported into the town for the weekend. In January 2020, the World Economic Forum presented their net zero challenge. By November 2020, net zero had become Canadian policy. You want to see how it affects the world, how it affects Canada, how having, 50% of the Trudeau cabinet has been penetrated by the WEF. This is how it happens. This is how. And do I need to reiterate? Supervillain costume. This is the same policy that has brought punishing carbon taxes down on Canadian households and businesses and negatively impacted our oil and gas industry. Don't forget, when Klaus Schwab, when this guy talks about Justin Trudeau, he uses the word penetrated. I'm just laying that out there. What's going on here? Net zero challenge. Fast forward to decisive climate action. Immediately, Justin Trudeau takes it up. Trudeau unveils Canada's net zero by 2050 plans. So he saw this. Klaus Schwab says, Justin, we have a challenge. Net zero. Can you win? He jumps on it immediately. He fast forwarded that lunacy. The 2015 World Economic Forum open border policy paper became Trudeau's signature policy. His encouraging post welcoming refugees from the U.S. in 2017, virtue signaling, was emblematic of Canada's open border policy. It resulted in high unemployment, skyrocketing housing prices, and immigration fatigue. Fact check true, and fact check true. And it was, and over the last 3 years, it's been absolutely through the roof. Millions of people. Look at this World Economic Forum. What does it say? Open borders. World War I's forgotten casualty. What? Is that why we did it? Canada's National Bank warns Justin Trudeau's open borders policy is creating a population trap that will tank the economy. Yes, we've made some videos about that on this channel. The population trap that Justin Trudeau was put us into. Simply, quality of living for Canadians, anybody, by the way, just anybody, like, been here for generations, got here 5 minutes ago, can't improve until the country is able to absorb the population, the economy is able to absorb, which is maybe never happens. I don't know. We'll have to find out. I think that a lot of Canadians are looking forward to Pierre Poilievre deporting people here, the millions of people here that are on temporary foreign worker visas and that are students, international students. There's 4.9 million people whose visas are coming up in 2025. Yeah, Trudeau's been busy. Then there was the Great Reset fiasco. Immediately after it was presented by the WEF in 2020, Trudeau was out hawking it to the world at the UN. He just does what he's told. Now it's time for the Great Reset. I read the Great Reset. I bought that book, and Klaus Schwab thinks you're an ant. That's what I came away from. That's what I came away from it with. Trudeau UN speech sparks Great Reset conspiracy. They say so. I find it hilarious how detached from reality the media is. The World Economic Forum puts out a video that they made. They cared about enough to make a video about it, talking about how you're going to own nothing and be happy. You point it out, you make a video saying, hey, the WEF, the World Economic Forum, wants this for you. And then the media says, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. What part exactly? I mean, we're just showing what they're saying publicly. They have websites. They have a website dedicated to all of this. It's public. Let's see. There's been a straight line between the World Economic Forum and Canadian public policy. Carney sits on the World Economic Forum Foundation Board. I think he's actually off that now. And Freeland sits on the Board of Trustees. So here is he might, I guess maybe he's the favorite to lead the Liberal Party to replace Justin Trudeau. Zero chance of winning, by the way. Here's Chrystia Freeland, until very recently, the finance minister and the deputy prime minister. So, yeah, Klaus wasn't kidding when he was talking about penetrating his cabinet. And by the way, the smart Carney, who's going to be promoted as being super smart and an economist, and he ran the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. He's been an economic advisor to Justin Trudeau since 2020, and it hasn't gone well. He likes everything that Justin Trudeau has done. He's a globalist banker who loves mass immigration. I don't think it's going to go well for him. The WEF is a group of unelected elites who believe they are superior to the peasants and intend to decide how the peasants shall live while exempting themselves from the rules they implement. Of course. Yeah, this is just par for the course now, right? It's just par for the course. Are they going to have steak? Oh, they're going to have steak. You'll have the bugs. They'll have the steak. Are they going to have cars? They're going to have cars. Are you going to have a car? Probably. No, absolutely. Well, you're not. If you do have access to a car, you're going to have to share it with 400 other people for the environment, right? Are they going to own things and be happy? Yes, they are. Are you? No. That's all for you. That's for the peasants. All of that, the bugs are for the peasants. They're not owning anything and being happy. That's for the peasants. Klaus Schwab is going to own things and be happy and have nice cars with drivers that he's not going to share with anybody. And he's going to eat steak whatever the hell Klaus Schwab wants to eat steak. All right. So let's continue. So I just find this guy kind of funny. He wants to run to be Liberal leader. JJ McCullough says, I suspect as we continue to see more and more Canadian politicians from backgrounds outside the two founding nations, you're going to continue to see more and more politicians like this guy. He's Chandra Arya. Let's take a look. Chandra Arya. He seems nice. Willing to break the Laurentian taboos. Well, you're supposed to speak French. It actually is important. If you're going to run for prime minister, certainly Quebec. The rest of Canada doesn't care too much, but Quebec does care. But let's take a look.
How's your French?
No.
No? No French?
No French.
Okay. The Liberal Party of Canada is the party of official bilingualism. It's going to be a tough one. I don't speak French either, so
The point is that whether the Quebecers or English Canadians, it's not the language that matters, it's what is that they deliver to them.
But the language matters very much in Quebec.
No. At the end of the day, Quebecers see who delivers what. We have English-speaking, French-fluent prime minister for all the time. One of the things that matters to Quebecers are being a sovereign country, a sovereign republic.
Yeah.
And which prime minister has ever talked about that?
Mr. Arya, if you're going to run for prime minister, I mean, you have to know that the French language matters and the French identity.
Well, the problem he has is that the English language also matters. So both the French and the English language matters. I mean, apparently he's like an anti-woke liberal. I mean, I'm so done with liberal. There's no chance in hell I will ever vote for a liberal again for the rest of my life. But he actually seems all right. I mean, certainly better than Trudeau. But in terms of realistically, there's just zero chance for this guy. He's probably the best they've got, frankly. But he's got no chance. Again, it's not only French that's important. Also English. So, yeah. I wish him all the best, though. All right, let's move on. What are we, 43 minutes in? All right, what's going on now? Here's Megyn Kelly on Justin Trudeau. She doesn't like him. She says, when I picture an effete, feckless man, well, I think you can guess the rest. All right, let's take a look.
Justin Trudeau has turned himself into a punchline. He is, when I picture effete, feckless man, I picture Justin Trudeau. I couldn't think of somebody less attractive to me as a woman than that man. I can't stand the sight of him. I'm thrilled our friendly neighbors in our evil top hat, as Michael Knowles calls Canada, have come to their senses and effectively forced him to this decision. Justin Trudeau has turned him.
This is emblematic of his problems, right? A less attractive man, she said. Can't think of a less attractive man. Let's watch that one more time.
Himself into a punchline. He is, when I picture effete, feckless man, I picture Justin Trudeau. I couldn't think of somebody less attractive to me as a woman than that man.
Yeah, this is emblematic of his problems. He swept into power, into glorious power, glamorous power. He was on the cover of magazines, this young, handsome, charismatic, young politician, young progressive politician. I mean, he didn't start out actually as a far left radical who hated Canada, where Canada was like a genocide state and everything, right? And everything was terrible and all the people were horrible racists unless they got here 15 minutes ago. He didn't start out like that, but he switched pretty quick. But again, he started out with this glamorous beginning to his career. And, he obviously had the woman vote. Now he doesn't. He lost the women's vote in Canada. Women don't like him anymore. I think they like him still more than men do. But no, women want him gone too. You don't have like approval ratings of 16% or 19% or whatever he's at right now and win the women's vote. What happened is they were mesmerized by his hair and his kind of shallow platitudes, which all seem nice, his sunny ways. And they've learned over time they have lost respect for him they've watched him and they have lost respect for him. And as I've said many times, once a woman loses respect for a man, he never gets it back. And I speak from experience, from having lost the respect of many women in my life. And you never get it back. You never get it back. So, yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that. Women of X, do you agree with her? So, when you think of Justin Trudeau, do you picture an effete, feckless man? Where you couldn't think of somebody less attractive to you? Tell me what you think, ladies. Let's see. Let's get to a bit of the chat here anyway. Nevada says Klaus Schwab probably used to give Trujina spankings. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about penetration going on. And that's what Klaus said. That's the word he used specifically. Let's see. Clever Swine says, you guys need a new Rob Ford. Yeah. Well, we've got his brother, who I don't think, he's kind of nominally conservative, I guess, kind of, not really. In Ontario. Clever Swine says, this dude wears sock suspenders for sure. Let's see. All right, let me scooch. Actually, let's see if anybody responded to this Megyn Kelly thing. Let's see. Did anybody comment on Trudeau? No, nobody did. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't mention anything, Rosie. All right, hold on a sec. I am just scrolling now to, there's lots of chat here, so. Nevada says that Trujina is definitely a beta. Definitely a beta. Clever Swine says Trudeau is forever people kind, not mankind, in my mind. Correcting someone in public. This told me all I needed to know. Yeah, I got the clip around somewhere where he interrupts somebody a woman asking him a question, who said something. I used the word mankind. He said, no, excuse me. We say people kind. We say people kind. Jesus. He really got a little too full of himself and his, and the toadying coverage from the media that was not reflecting how, even when he was much more popular than he is now, still not reflecting the public mood. Let's see. Nevada says, like something from a sci-fi movie. Yeah, you're talking about this. About this obvious supervillain. This man with obvious evil intent. Malevolent intent. Obviously. How can anybody not see that? Izzy says, I'm sure he has a secret bunker someplace. He's probably got 5 of them in the Swiss Alps somewhere. All right. He's probably in one of them right now. Nevada says he wants you to eat the bugs too. He does. He loves people eating bugs, except for himself. I guarantee you Claus has never eaten a bug, and he never will. Let's see. Nevada said, globalist, stinking, commie, scumbags, all of them. All of them. You're talking about the WEF?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Is he talking about the WEF there, the World Economic Forum?
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism.
Jackie Gleason's right. He's always been right about communism. Let's see. Nevada says, I will never forgive Megyn for her stance on school vaccines. Was she pro-school vaccines? You know what? Let's do a fact check. Hold on.
Fact check.
Give me 1 second, and we'll get it. All right, hold on. Megyn Kelly has expressed skepticism towards school vaccine mandates, particularly regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. Yeah, that's what I'm glad it assumed we were talking about that. She has publicly stated her regret for getting the COVID-19 vaccine herself due to a subsequent autoimmune issue and has argued against vaccine mandates for children. Kelly has highlighted concerns about the risks associated with vaccines, suggesting that the urgency for such mandates does not exist and that the potential risks are still unfolding. And she's talking about the C19 jab there. This stance was notably echoed in posts on X, where she emphasized her opposition to vaccine mandates for children, especially in the context of school requirements. However, it's important to note her views are not just limited to school vaccines, but extend to a broader critique of vaccine mandates and the handling of information related to vaccines during COVID-19 era. Well, let's take a look at a couple of posts here. Colette Murphy, Megyn Kelly saying too many vaccines too soon. That was JFK. Her name escapes me at the moment. You guys can probably tell me. That was RFK Jr.'s running mate. Nicole Shanahan. That's who it was. Megyn Kelly, June 4th, 2021. There is no emergency justifying mandated vaccines for children, and the risks are still unfolding. No vaccine mandate, especially for kids. So June 4th, 2021. So she was right on top of it there. She was right on top of it there. So I don't know. I was surprised. I was surprised to hear that. Let's see. So that was, that's this one here. That's June 4th, 2021. And she's saying no emergency, there is no emergency justifying mandated vaccines for children. So I don't think she was pro. I don't think she was. Let's see. Rosie says, I wish Megyn was more clear and able to state her opinions. And Nevada says, deep down, Megyn is a socialist. I don't know. I think you guys are wrong. I'm going to tell you guys, I think you're wrong. I haven't seen any evidence of that. Although I may be wrong as well, but I'm saying I think you guys are wrong. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. JJ Nevada says, JJ says that I might get some hate, but I got to say, if women couldn't vote, Obama and Trudeau would never have won. Well, whether you get hate or not, that's just a statement of fact. Now, women have come around. We need to state that. Like both in the States and in Canada, women have come around. They have. Because Trump did need women to win, right? And again, True China. They call him True China, like China. Yeah, he's lost the women's vote here, so they've come around. Rosie says, Rita Baloney, I think it's a universal truth now. Once you lose anyone's respect, does it ever come back? Well, I think there's a deeper issue here in the way that women and men view the world and interact with the world. Like, I do think there are some kind of fundamental differences with the way men and women see the world, see their place in the world. I'm not saying like we're like different species from different planets, obviously not, right? But maybe some subtle differences. And I'm not talking about all women or all men. There are men that see things that would much more closely align with women in terms of, like, agreeability, and there's very disagreeable women, all of that. But I think there is a different way. Like, obviously, women are looking at a Justin Trudeau differently than a man is, right? Or straight men are, right? But we'll get into that too deep into that right now. Let's see. Well, Rosie says, so answering the question here, Trujana is nasty, unmanly, and repulsive. Is that better? That is fantastic. There, you got a proper applause for that one. Izzy says, I'm trying to forget the nightmare that was Trujana. Trujana. Let's see. Rosie says, please do not lose my respect with anti-19th Amendment talk. Well, I qualified it, though, right? I qualified it, right? The women have come around. The women have come around. Let's see. Nevada says, only grass-fed steaks for Klaus. For Klaus. Let's see. Nevada didn't mean any harm there, Rosie. Let's see. Rosie says, identity politics and voting that way is a huge problem. It is. It is. But I do think there are differences. I think demonstrable differences in the way men vote and women vote. I mean, there is if you take a look at Democrat to, are leftist and conservative in the United States or Canada, there's clearly a difference. Something is happening. There is a difference. Even when you have somebody who becomes as unpopular as Trudeau and loses the women vote, there's still a difference there between the male vote and the female vote. Something is happening, right? There's something different in the way that men and women are judging these people. I'm not talking about all, I'm just saying in the aggregate, right? Just like, men are men are on average taller than women. There's women that are taller than men, but on average, men are taller than women. But no, I don't think that I do think that women should be able to vote. Let's see. But then again, no, I'm kidding. Let's see. Rosie says, true, women tend to be more trusting. Also, women are more abused in general. As a result, turn off the warning signals. That's interesting. All right. So let's move on. I thought you guys would enjoy Megyn Kelly shitting on Justin Trudeau because it's fun. So Pierre Poilievre, he's getting noticed outside of Canada, which is not something that happens to Canadian politicians very often. Justin Trudeau got noticed outside of Canada. He was the big star, the big glamour star that everybody loved until they realized what a clown he is. Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre Elliott, made waves as well internationally. He was actually a much more charismatic guy, a terrible leader as well. Terrible. But the way that Canada's doing well in the past has been that you don't know who the prime minister is. It's just somebody competent doing a decent job. Maybe not great, but a decent job. But really what's required now, especially with the turn of the media, with the partisanship of the media, like it really does require modern conservative politicians anywhere in the West to take a page out of Trump's book and just realize, you know what? This is not the same. It's not, your father's media anymore, right? They've got a side. It's not just, liberal leaning anymore, right? They've got an agenda now, and you've got to play the game differently. You can't play it like you used to, right? Pierre's learned that. And people are taking note. I mean, this is from The Daily Show. I don't know who she is. I haven't watched The Daily Show in, I don't know, 87 years. Is it 87 years since I last watched it? At least 90 years since I've watched The Daily Show. But I thought this was interesting. Let's take a look.
Trudeau didn't resign just to make it easier for Trump to take over Canada. The fact is he resigned because he's very unpopular now. And if he ran again, he'd have to face this guy, Pierre Poilievre. He's the leader of the Conservative Party. And based on this interview, he's a pretty intimidating dude.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
God damn, that's a power move. I haven't seen someone dominated like this since I watched Baby Girl. Tell you what, America's not getting Canada from him. Get on your knees. You're our province now. Good girl.
So that's The Daily Show. She's not mocking them. I mean, normally they just mock and they would take, some interview from a conservative and take, something out of context to mock them unfairly. That wasn't that, and of course that's the viral apple eating clip that really kind of got his name out there originally. I think it was about a year ago that happened. So again, this is interesting, right? That's a Daily Show. The Daily Show. It's weird. Like that wasn't mocking Pierre Poilievre, right? So it's interesting. I mean, it just seems like everything is aligning for Pierre. Everything is aligning for him. You look at what his competition is going to be against the Liberals. I mean, already Trudeau is set to announce he's going to step down after a leadership race. Who are they going to put in place? Twitchy, Chrystia Freeland, globalist banker, mass immigration and carbon tax fan, Carney. Yeah, I'm not sure it's all going to work. There's nobody, right? You've basically just got a Ditz in Jolie. Everybody involved with including Carney, by the way. Carney's been an advisor to Trudeau since 2020. So the Liberal Party has been made in the image of Justin Trudeau. They're all just inextricably linked to him. They've supported everything he's done. None of them raised any voice of concern until the very last minute, until they saw that the political landscape was hopeless with him running the party, which it still is, by the way. Right? So the Liberal Party of Canada is just Trudeau. It's a cult of personality. That's why we call his supporters, the few that are left, the 16% or whatever that's left, we call them TrueAnon. And another issue here is too, I mean, you've got these bland nothings, right, that are all just tied to Trudeau already. And you've got the Liberal Party brand just being destroyed because the Liberal Party brand is the Justin Trudeau brand. And I have to wonder, those few loyal cult members, the cult of Trudeau, can they even be counted to vote on the Liberal Party now? Because if Trudeau's not there, will they just completely lose interest? I mean, it seems like a lot of them, maybe they're just TrueAnon cult members, right? They were just supporting Trudeau. They're still mesmerized by his hair, right? Maybe they're pining for the salt and pepper goatee again. I don't know. But there's really nothing to like there for a sane person or somebody who's looking for any kind of substance. It could get even worse without him. I mean, it was going to be a wipeout with him. It could be even worse without him. Because at least the cult, what do we call them?
Small fringe minority.
Yeah, that small fringe minority that's still dedicated to Trudeau. Without them, then you're really talking a wipeout. Because I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to get excited about twitchy or globalist banker who loves mass immigration and carbon taxes. Not going to happen. So everything, the stars are just aligning. I don't want to jinx it, though. I won't say any more. Let's see. Rosie says, I love this clip of PP. Clever Swine says, I like this dude. He's good looking. Izzy says, that was such a good moment. So memorable. Just need to mention the Apple clip and everyone knows what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what really kind of broke him onto the public consciousness as like, oh yeah, who is this guy? This guy's interesting. Rosie says, Apple clip, much more memeable than, I'm not saying that. Update now. No. I know what you're trying to do. Get me on an update rant. Let's see. Izzy says, my app crashed, had to restart. Yeah, it seems to be these little glitches. Hopefully we'll stop the stream tonight before we get the stream glitch at 2 hours and 10 minutes. Clever Swine, but does he speak French? He does speak French. JDL, how you doing? All right. All right, so you know what? We're going to cut off the YouTube part of the stream now. We're going to continue just with Rumble. So we always start with Rumble and YouTube at the same time. About an hour in, we cut off the YouTube part for reasons that I've stated so many times. I don't need to state them again. So anybody watching on YouTube right now, please join us over on Rumble. We're going to keep going. And the chat's great, and the water's fine, and everybody's super nice and friendly. So join us over here. Otherwise, I will see you Tuesday. Good night. There we go.